Hello everyone, I am Tamannaah Bhatia and I'm super excited to be a part of Vogue Beauty Festival 2022. Today I'm going to be sharing with you guys my go-to date night look. So for starters, I'm going to be putting my hair behind. I've already prepped my face, but what I normally forget to prep is my neck. Not a lot of people know that it's very important to not just prep the face part but also your neck, because this is the part that tends to look very dry and the texture never really matches. Like the face texture ends up looking different than the neck texture, and I think makeup is best when it's kind of the body is being connected to the face. Otherwise it tends to look like a lot of product on the face but nothing really on the body. And that's primarily to do with the fact that it's really not hydrated. And some on the shoulders as well. I think highlight is something that's definitely built up because I just don't like a lot of shine on the body without it actually kind of radiating from the skin, because that's when it looks the most beautiful and like it's radiating from inside. Okay, so normally for a date night look, when I want to do a dewy face, I always feel like it's the under eye that I tend to have a problem with because I have dark circles, and this has always been like a problem area for me. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to color correct, and I'm going to put it on these parts where you see it's a bit dark. It's primarily to cut out the bluishness, because, and also with like fair skin types, the problem is that if you just load on base, it never really corrects the blue. That kind of just stays. So it's very important that you do a little bit of orange correction and then apply your base or your concealer. And I like to use my hands because I feel like certain products actually blend better when you do it with your fingers and your hands, not with a brush. Now I'm going to go on and do my base. So again, because it's a date night look, it need not be loaded with makeup. So I'm working more towards texture and less towards coverage. Of course, on an unfortunate day when you have a pimple or a mark that you need to cover, then a bit of concealer, goes a long way. So I'm going to be doing my base, and I want to mix it up with my moisturizer, because why fix what's not broken? Actually, this is a technique that I learned from the shoots that I've done and the photo shoots that I've done, because I feel like there's too much emphasis on coverage, but sometimes it's so lovely to be able to see skin. And I feel like that is something that is so much more, it just looks a lot more translucent, and people tend to ask me, how do I achieve that translucent look? So the translucence actually comes from the hydration and the moisturizer that goes into the base. This is a bit of the oily area. I mean, there are times I actually conceal before I do my base, but today I'd like to actually put the base before I conceal. I'm going to take a little bit of it on my eyelids as well so that the texture is the same. I'm going to be using this word texture a lot because I think I'm so obsessed with it. I love creating that dewy thing with the texture. And yeah, just like you do your face, it's very important to also do your neck, because you've already done a moisturizer on it, but some base that kind of just makes the same, because I have a suntan here, so there's a bit of a patch and I want to just blend it all out. Okay, now back to the under eye, because that's bit of a problem area in my face. I'm going to use a little baby mirror, and I don't again like to put too much in one spot, so it's just like where I need it. And I'm just putting concealer wherever I like see few spots that I want to correct, and then a little bit where I want highlight, because some amount of highlight is also created by your concealer. You don't really need an actual highlighter to create that. And I'm going to be taking the concealer all the way up to the eyelid so that acts like a primer. You don't need to separately prime the lids of your eyes. So when you put the makeup on your eyelids, it stays better and it stays through the night. So because concealers are always much thicker in consistency, it's important to make sure that you use very little of it. So wherever I wanted a little bit of coverage, a little bit of brightness, I've just put concealer there. Okay, so we have our base done. That looks clean, but I might come back to my under eye because I normally tend to build on. I don't end up putting all of it at once. Once I see my entire face, then I decide if I want to add some more. Now we are going to do a little bit of contour. Yes, I have this one palette which always kind of saves me from having too many products, because there is a contour, there's a blush, so it's all happening together. Now, one thing that I've learned while working in the movies is that instead of making these long lines on your face and putting on a lot of product and then trying to blend it, it's always nicer to put little and just in strategic places. So if they're in a strategic place where you feel like you need the lift, it actually does the job with much lesser product. So this is my contour. Now I like to create like a small line here. I make a fishy face, of course, like this. And then I take it a bit upward. And then I do the same on this side. I'll also want to contour my nose a little bit. So I'm just going to do that. Yes, we are getting there, we're getting there. I mean, how is it a date night if you're not late for it? And now I'm going to be blending this. So you see there's a little bit of, I've just created very little definition exactly where I wanted. I'm feeling like I can add a little bit more. So I'm just going to take a little bit of the brush and... So in my nose, I like to cut the tip for people who have really long noses. I think it's really important to balance it off. I'm feeling a little bit of need on the forehead as well at the moment. So also I feel like every day my face looks a bit different. So I always play it by what it's looking at that point of time. So it's not necessary that you need to always be stuck to a certain thing that you do. You can always play and do what really looks good at that point of time. So our contour is done. But now we have blush to do. So let's get, and that's really, honestly, for a date night, blush is like the most important thing, because that's what really creates the entire sultry look, and that's what creates the entire oomph factor. At least on my face, that works wonders. Okay, so I think I have recently realized that I like to do my blush like a W. So I'm going to show you how that goes. Yay, I'm excited about my blush. Because I know how good it looks, So, I mean, and these are trade secrets, huh? So it's all coming out to you guys. So, one way of doing your blush is like here, but I don't like doing that. I like going for the apples of the cheek and a little bit higher. Because otherwise, of course, right now nobody's going to be putting flashlights on me, but sometimes when you are actually going to be photographed or going to even take selfies or pictures, you'll find this white line happening here. So to avoid that, it's really important to take your blush almost like to your under eye. And that just lets you give it that flush and takes away that little whitishness under your eye, which tends to happen because of the concealer. Because there's no getting away from coverage. So might as well just pink it up. Can you see? This is how you blush without your man around. Just like right amount of product. And most importantly, so how does the W happen? It's this. It's also on your nose. So taking it on the nose actually creates this W effect. Okay, I'm going to take it a little higher, so a little bit more W. And then you need to put it a little bit on your face everywhere. I have an allergy, which I don't. This is what happens when I get excited. It just goes all over the face. Okay, so we have our concealing done. We have our base done. The blush is done. Now, I think I should do my eyes. Again, I wanted to do something that's very, is shine and is dewy. But I also don't want to do a powder because I don't like the texture of a powder. It immediately makes me feel like it's makeup. And I guess good makeup looks are mostly that look. Like they're just there, but they've always been there since you've woken up. I am going to add it's like a pot. So this is like a paint pot. And I'm going to just be putting that on my eyes. Oh yeah, it's doing what it should be doing. It's giving me all the shine I wanted. I just love this product, because it doesn't make it look like it's just this. And I'll give you another trick. This normally also goes as my highlighter. So I just place this a little here and a little here. Yeah, I kind of am doing my face all together at once. Okay, so we have our eyeshadow done, but now that there's so much shine on it, sometimes you'll feel like it's too blank. So I'm gonna add kind of shape to my eyes. And that, as much as I wanted to avoid the powder, I think it's inevitable and we're going to have to use it. For me, makeup is childhood love, is exactly where I discovered that this is something that's going to be a part of my life forever. And I'm lucky that I use it in my professional life, and of course everyone does, most women do makeup, but I do it professionally. I have to do it literally every day of my life, and I enjoy it. It's the best feeling ever to be able to do it for a living and experiment with it every day, learn something new about it every day. Okay, let's get the right brush for your eyeshadow. Yes, I found it. So now to create some kind of a contour on your eyelids, I'm not going to use a very dark color. I'm going to use something that's a little mild so that it's not too stark. This is just to create a little bit of a crease. So you see a separation that happens. Honestly, I don't think I've ever been my makeup has never been so well done for an actual date night. So I think I'm getting ideas for myself also. I think in the movies I've done more date nights than I've done really know exactly what's to be done. Okay, so we have, I think you guys can see now there is a sense of definition that's come up here. So it's not looking that blank anymore. And date nights inevitably happen after a really long day at work and everyone's exhausted and tired. So how do you spruce up your face? The eyes. But for that, you need to use something that's not like a very stark liner, but still kind of lifts up the eyes and makes it look sparkly. So I'm going to create I don't know what you call it, linerish effect without actually using liner. Now this is a Charlotte Tilbury pencil, and it's almost like it's the same family as the Pillow Talk, so it tends to look perfect with it. I always have some 10,000 brushes while I do my makeup because I'm always using different brushes. See, like an instant lift that happens with this. So I'm going to be now putting mascara on because we've done the linerish effect. But if you really want to see your eyes bright up, you need to put lots of mascara. Okay, let's do this. So a lot of people use an eyelash curler, but thankfully, because I have really long lashes, I'm just going to go for it with the wand. But it's really important to push the wand right from the base of your lashes. So it's a little bit of very strategic positioning of where can you see? Just hello. Actually, it's good morning for me. Okay, we're almost there with the mascara. Guys, I don't know if you can see, the eyes literally look like I have woken up. Officially woken up. God, I don't know what I would have done if I didn't have mascara. Now we need to do what I think is literally the most important thing for any kind of makeup, because I think that actually frames your face, and that is brows. Brows. I can say it 100 times because it's so important, and it actually makes all the difference in a face. So first thing, you need to brush it up a little bit, because mostly after a long day, I think eyes just are like, need a bit of lifting. So with your spoolie, which is the backside of your, the wand that helps you comb out your brows, that you need to make sure you're putting your brows a bit up. So that actually helps you lift your face, like in a very subtle way. You don't have to really do much to create that lift. This is actually something that helps it lift, by itself. Yeah, so I'm just creating this lift with this spoolie brush. And now I'm going to be... So my eyebrow filler is actually a really thin, it's almost like microblading your brows, but with a product. And I always like feathery brows. I never like the whole, like as if it's a block on your eyes. Never a fan of that. I think you need to keep it feathery because our natural brows always have that gap and that space. So people overdraw their lips and I overdraw my brows, because I think that's what really helps me. I don't know if you guys can see, but there's so much definition that just comes if you see this side of the brow and you see this side. There's like an immediate definition. It's like, it's like magic. Every time I do my brows, I'm like, hey, when did this happen? And it works every single time. Yeah. I'm gonna do it on the other side. So I also like to make sure that the arc, like, can you see the point here and here? I feel like they should be actually balancing your face a lot. So sometimes, like, you need to create that definition. For people who have like lighter eyebrows, like I have lighter eyebrows, so I need to actually make that definition because it's not actually there. I really think it's the subtle things in makeup that make all the difference, because it's never really putting like a lot of product on one place, and I feel like that is somehow never makes it for me. I always have to do something that's natural and yet impactful. Okay, the brows are good. So review. So important to do that while you're doing your makeup, because that really makes you feel like what's the next step that you want to do. So now once I'm through with my eyes, now I really need to powder my face. So of course I have really hydrated my face a lot. And the problem with hydrating it a lot is that there are going to be spots on your face which are going to be a bit oily. So you're going to have to balance that with powder and also set your makeup, because it's what's going to make sure that it lasts. So now I'm going to powder. I think especially the under eye, because that tends to, I don't feel the need to add more product. I'm really happy with the way it's looking. I feel like sometimes if I overdo it, it starts looking funny. If you see now, I've just taken away that oiliness that was coming about because of overly hydrating. But trust me, this actually makes your makeup last way longer. One step that I really like to do, and I think is really important, and especially for a date night, if you really want your eyebrows to stay, you should use something that's a brow freezer. It basically fixes up your brows, and just like an eye mascara, how it just stays as it should, the brow freeze basically lets just your eyebrows stay as is, and it just doesn't budge. Not even a single hair. I mean, that's what I think I've always seen happen. And the feathery look that you need, that doesn't get destroyed through the night. Stays as is. Okay, so basically, I don't have a palette with me, which is the place where I'm going to experiment with all the colors. So this is basically what happens to your hand when you're trying to play with eyeshadow or any product. I mean, wait till I swatch my lipsticks. That really makes my hands look like multiple colors. Okay, so the brows have been frozen. Now there's nothing that's going, even it's waterproof. So basically it's going to just stay there. I think this is looking great. I think lipstick, I've come to very close to where, where is the finishing line. And I think it's, first I was like, I'm going to do, when I thought of a date night, I was like red mouth, but I'm like, I think I'll keep the dress red. So I'm going for a nice crushed, like a crushed peachy kind of mouth. So now I'm again fix what's not broken. So this is a really beautiful color from Sugar. It's called Elizabeth. So I'm just going to take this color Elizabeth and just... I think someone is date night ready. This was my date night go-to look. I hope you guys have liked it, enjoyed it. This is pretty simple and it's just effective. I feel so